The parable of the sower, a message for your heart. Sometimes in life, when everything feels heavy and quiet inside, we start to wonder why our prayers feel empty and why God feels so far away, even though we still believe in Him and still want Him in our lives. Jesus knew we would feel this way, and that is why He told a simple story that is meant for every heart, in every time, and in every place. And this story is called the parable of the sower. Jesus said that a farmer went out into his field carrying a bag of seeds. And as he walked across the land, he gently threw the seeds everywhere so that something new could grow. Some of these seeds fell on the hard road where they could not go into the ground, and birds quickly came and took them away before they ever had a chance to grow. Some of the seeds fell on rocky places where there was only a little soil, so they grew fast at first, but because they had no deep roots, they soon dried up under the hot sun and died. Some of the seeds fell among weeds, and even though they started to grow, the weeds grew around them and slowly took all their light and space until they could no longer live. But some of the seeds fell on good soil where they were able to grow strong and healthy and produce much more than anyone expected. The seeds were all the same, but the places where they landed were very different. Jesus said that the seed is the Word of God, which means that every time you hear about Him, every time you read the Bible, and every time something in your heart gently tells you to come back to God, a small seed is being planted inside you. God is always planting seeds in our lives. Even when we are broken, even when we feel tired, and even when we feel far away from Him, because His love for us never stops and His hands are always reaching out. The seeds that fell on the hard road are like people who hear about God, but never really let His words go into their hearts. Because their minds are full of worries, their lives are busy, and their hearts are closed. In today's world, this happens when we are always on our phones, always rushing, always filling our lives with noise. So when God tries to speak, His voice is lost, and the seed never enters the heart. The seeds that fell on rocky ground are like people who feel happy when they hear about God and feel excited when they pray, but their faith does not go deep enough to hold them when life becomes painful and hard. They believe when things are going well, but when sickness comes, when disappointment comes, and when prayers seem unanswered, their faith begins to fade because it had no strong roots. The seeds that fell among weeds are like people who want God in their lives, but also want money, comfort, success, and the things of this world just as much. So their hearts become crowded and God slowly has less and less room. Worries, stress, and the love of this world grow like weeds around their faith until it cannot breathe. But the seeds that fell on good soil are like people who listen when God speaks, who trust Him even when they do not understand, and who keep walking with Him even when life is hard and painful. They are not perfect people, but they are open people. And because their hearts are soft, God is able to grow something beautiful inside them. Right now, God is planting a seed in you through these words, through your pain, through your hopes, and through your prayers. And He is gently asking if your heart is ready to let something new begin. You do not need to be strong, and you do not need to have everything together, because all God is asking for is a heart that is willing to listen and ready to grow. When your heart becomes good soil, even the smallest seed of faith can grow into something that changes your whole life.